We all draw inspiration and learn lessons from different people and their experiences apart from our personal ones. And one of the most powerful places or people that a majority of individuals learn from is from their peers. Peer basically means someone that is on your level. It is derived from the Latin word par, which means equal. So it can be a friend, a colleague, or someone you know, or maybe even a stranger. Peers, or a group of people who have similar interests, age, background, or social status, serve as an important source of information, feedback, and support to individuals as they develop a sense of self. Peers help socialize an individual by reinforcing or punishing behaviors or interpersonal interactions. Peer pressure is invincible but powerful, and by that I simply mean that until you see an action being performed, you don't know that peer pressure is working. And that is why it is such a powerful source or force. There are positives and negatives to everything. And today, the question is, does peer pressure make or mar your future? My guests for today are Miss Priscilla Adjoa Asantewa, Manager for Association Zen Zero, and Mr. Nana Kwame Bobe, who is a digital marketer with Brand Phoenix. So today we decided to be outside, so please forgive the background noise. My lady and gentlemen, you're welcome to Golden Table.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for taking the time to be here.
Yeah, things you do for love.
I love it too.
We appreciate the honor too.
You're very welcome. So we're gonna get right into it. In my introduction, I talked a bit about what, peer pressure, and this definition is generally. But for you, what is peer pressure? Let me start with Asantewa.
Okay, for me, I think peer pressure has to do with either the same age group or people of a different age group but have a common interest and have a bit of influence on themselves. It could be bad, it could be good. That's what peer pressure is to me.
Nana?
I think is what she said. Is to me just influence. It's just peer influence. Pressure is just a very dramatic way to say it, and the pressure is always subjective and self-inflicted because there's always influence around. How it exerts itself to become a pressure onto you is always distinct to one person, like to the person who feels that influence. Because we all influence one another somehow.
Okay. Alright, so have you ever, experienced any form of peer pressure?
I think we all do, but to be honest, in my circles, I am the peer pressure.
Oh, you what? Good. Nana, so are you a positive or a negative
I make you do the good and the bad thing.
Goodness.
Yes,
Alright,
I am on both sides of my life.
How about you, Priscilla?
For me, I wouldn't say I have directly had that because a lot of people look up to me and I don't have a circle of people to call friends.
Okay.
So then I've not had the opportunity to be...
Okay, so you've been influenced by someone. Okay, because you're in your circle.
Yes.
Alright. So we're in Ghana. Given our culture and setting, do you think that there is a lot of peer pressure?
Yes, but it's human. Like, it's human to be influenced by friends.
We're not even arguing about it not being.
Like, I feel like it is totally normal. Like, I feel like every other person is an amalgamation of all the things they have seen and the people they've experienced.
Okay.
You heard somebody say they love this music, you listen to it, you love it too, and now one of your favorite artists is somebody that you heard a friend listen to. All I'm saying is, like, peer pressure is there. Like, I'm proud to say I'm some of the best and worst parts of my friends too. Yeah, because like you hang out with somebody.
We both looked at you like,
you hang out with. You're like, oh, of course, let's not be.
Let's not be one.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like you hang out with somebody, right? So, like my best friend and I, we are the best and worst parts of each other too.
Okay, that I understand.
Yeah, because you hang out with somebody so much, you almost become in sync. You pick up the things.
That has to go with the saying, show me your friend.
And I'll show you your character.
And it doesn't even have to be direct or like intentional. It is, if your brain picks up on it. Your brain just picks up on the stuff that people do. And that you don't have strong resistance against. And before you realize, you're doing it.
Okay, so Asantewa, what about you? Would you say that in Ghana there's like a lot of peer pressure?
There is, because we see some memes flying around that that you're not like at that age to get some kind of asset or something, but because there's prostitution, hookup, and you know, the Yahoo boys.
Yeah.
You find that kind of thing going around. I think social media has a role to play. Family has a role to play in that, and friends as well. If you don't receive the proper home training, you definitely tend to friends. If you don't find the right kind of people to be around you who keep pushing you and whatever, I mean, you fall prey to a lot of things.
You do know that some parents do raise their children right?
I
But
know.
then they go find some kind of friends
because in psychology there's something called selective mutism. Selective mutism, you find places where you choose to keep quiet about certain things. So in a class where there are students, and this dude knows, if I answer the question and it's wrong, my friends will laugh at me. So then I wouldn't speak. When I get home, I'm open,
and then you can talk.
I can talk as much as I can. It's selective mutism. So then you choose when to do certain things. It also applies to behavior. With in psychology, there's this thing. You learn by association. So by whom you associate with, that is whom you identify yourself. So in Ghana, I think it has to do with a lot.
You know, because in Ghana, when we hear peer pressure, we automatically go to the negative.
Definitely.
That is our definition of peer pressure.
Yes.
Totally. But I feel like there are positives and negatives to it, and we'll come to that.
Okay.
But do you believe that you've been influenced, by, someone? You see, when I was given the definition of peer, I said it means someone who's your equal. You could be the same age, you could be a stranger. So, for instance, maybe there's someone on the internet who is a celebrity or something. They may not be your friend, but you're the same age. You have certain things that in common, exactly, and then you pick up something from there. So, do you think you've had someone in your life? It doesn't have to be, over the internet. Maybe it could be on the internet, a friend, someone, but you're still, peers, and you picked up something from them.
Yes, because I feel like those things are inevitable. Like, you cannot ever exist in the same space as somebody and truly not pick up on certain things. It could even be lingo, something as simple as lingo. Like somebody who says literally a lot, or actually a lot, or like the word like a lot.
When you're around, you then also pick it up.
Randomly, you start rumbling. Oh, you like? Oh, actually. And it's like, that's the thing. I think it would be best to, let's say, are we talking about negative peer pressure or positive peer pressure? Because then at the end of the day, you are bound to be influenced by somebody, whether you don't know somebody, you admire somebody, you like.
Have you so let's do you think you picked up negative and positives? Give me some
positives, yes, like a lot of positives, and I'm not even gonna lie, because I always believe I'm surrounded by some of the best people. I love my circle of friends. They're amazing people, and I have picked up so many positive things from them, and I have been, their positivity has also filled holes that I can't fill myself, because people are all different, and I think I'm in a circle where we all realize that. So even when you fall short in certain ways, they are able to fill you up. But when it comes to negative things, I am too stubborn
to pick up
and too strong-minded to pick up negative.
When you notice this is negative,
yes, I have,
like, okay, I'm not going.
I'm too, and I have a very, for lack of saying it, for lack of better way of saying it, I have a subtle sense of superiority complex.
So you're like, okay, you're not going to
you're not going to do that to me. Have you met me?
so if we want to say, like, you're dominant.
Yes, and so I'm always like,
not a submissive.
No, I'll do it the best way. Shut up.
So how about you, Asanko? Have you had positive and negative experiences?
For my positive influence, sorry to say, my peer pressure has come from books I've read while growing up. I've not had that kind of self-association
with people to be able to.
For people, I have people who look up to me, but I've not had someone to genuinely tell me I would like to be your friend or something.
So you haven't been able to
in that
have a certain kind of relationship to know that, okay, this thing is
and then sometimes I think some people try to identify themselves with me, but over the time, if I realize we don't have anything in sync, why should I stay being your friend? I do away with friends more easily than I can ever imagine. My books are there. I can take a lot of things from the book because I have a very big, like, imaginative mind. So I imagine a lot. And sometimes I feel in that aspect, there are a lot of people that maybe you can't literally, like, open up to. I'm that kind of person. I talk to myself a lot. If you see me walking and you see me smiling and laughing, I'm talking to myself. I advise myself, I talk to myself, and I'm my own friend. So it helps me understand myself. So sometimes when I'm speaking to people, people can't understand me because I have not come to terms with the fact that I'm speaking to another person, not myself.
So you haven't had the opportunity to be, in a certain group. Okay, so I'm not restricting you to friends. What about workplaces? What about
workplaces?
You think you've met someone, maybe when you were in school, did you meet someone who had, a particular influence on you?
I could say my sports master when I was in senior high school. I was a sports prefect, so I was close to him. I liked his line of work, and he pushed me to become a better version of myself. Then I think for my national service, it had to do with my boss. He was like a father figure to me. I identify father figures, I identify authority as my form of peer pressure. That is what I identify.
So then basically the influences that you've had, given the examples you are given, are positive influences.
Yes, very positive.
So I mean, in Ghana, when we talk about peer pressure, and honestly, I haven't done some statistical thing to come and say that okay, based off of the survey, the negatives are positive than the but given how the experiences we saw in senior high school and uni, most of the peer pressure we see are bad, negative. Exactly. People, I don't know if it's because of how our educational system is, or the kind of training we get when we're growing up, but we tend to want to pick up
some kind of
negatives, or some people who just are blind to the positives.
Yeah,
I don't know if I can say that.
Also, I feel like it is humans' very individualistic sense of attaching praises.
Okay.
Like when you see two friends working and a friend starts getting better, you don't say, "Oh, look at your friend has made you better." You say, "Oh, you've grown." But the moment they start picking up something wrong, oh, your friend made you pick it up. Yes, I feel like we are not very loud about positive influences because we like to immediately align them with personal growth.
And criticize a lot.
Yes, we immediately align that with personal growth. Oh, the person is just growing.
Okay, but not because maybe they had this particular friend. And yes, maybe a friend could also have that kind of.
Exactly.
Okay, so I'll give an example. I think when we were in school in uni, I had this friend who. I don't know what she saw, but maybe she figured, okay, there's something about her that I want to, she started, hanging around with me. And one time we were sitting in her car, and another lady entered the car, and the statement she made was, "Oh, Golda, since she started working with you, she covers up now." And then, honestly, I couldn't react. What am I supposed to say to you? Telling someone that, hey, we leave you, only go to cover up. But given the way our society is, I won't say that, okay, because someone is doing their thing. But I felt like, okay, that is not so bad. It means maybe she's picked up something positive from you. But people usually, like you said, Nana, don't like to attach, the positivity and growth to, okay, on another one, it's only a few people that do that. Most of the time when it's something negative,
people who are honest enough.
Yes.
People who are honest enough. And I also think with this kind of association, you could have parents who would want you to be friends with someone's son or daughter because they assume they would have a good influence on your life. And I think parents have to play a role in the lives of their children in terms of influence, because as a mother or father, you could become your own child's friend or your own daughter or
I think
son's
that
friend.
there's a thin line with that. If you are not careful, yes, some parents go with, "Oh, I'm your friend," and now they can't be parents.
No, and even no matter how you are able to find that perfect balance between parenting and befriending your child, it would never be like having their peer around.
Exactly.
Generational differences are going to sprout in the most obvious and strongest ways. They would need people to understand the time in which they're growing up in.
There are always exceptions, but the majority
it doesn't work out
to be with people who are their peers.
And feel a sense of belonging.
Exactly. Like I found someone that I can be myself with. Okay, I'm not gonna have to deal with this kind of judgment. Not that okay, maybe I won't correct you when you're doing the wrong thing, but okay, I can be me and still be corrected. That okay, this is not how you do things. So I think with the parent aspect,
it's hard.
It's hard for parents to try to be a parent and be your child's friend. Because the moment you say I'm your friend and maybe they're doing something and you're like, you know what, I don't want you doing this. I'm asserting my authority as a parent. And the whole dynamics will change. And okay, I thought you were my friend. You're not my friend anymore.
Exactly.
So it can affect the
and I think it has to do with the levels of responsibility. I mean, how can you be friends with a billionaire when yourself you are not working hard enough?
That is why can't you though?
because I mean, you'll be a freeloader.
What if you are friends with the billionaire? You just became friends with the billionaire, or maybe by virtue of their family, they are like that. Okay, so I just then I'm now about to build myself to get to that point.
Then if it falls in the category of a common interest,
That's one thing. My concern with that is, I feel like lately people make friends like that in the HR department.
True that. What am I going to get from this person?
Listen, humans are meant to love. Humans are meant to give you a sense of belonging. Humans are supposed to be there. And trust me, whether money, like you have money, whether you're a billionaire or not, that is not what your purpose is to be in somebody's life. Right? I feel like so you see a billionaire friends with somebody who doesn't work, but they have such a strong emotional bond. And when push comes to shove, they're there for each other. Right? But then I feel like humans put value on money. Like, yay, that. Or humans put money on somebody that's confident. Like, why has your friend that and your friend is that? You can't be. Why? And
how's it possible that you're friends with this person? Because I understand
exactly,
that
and I hate that new notion of friendship that is also propagated by motivational speakers. If you are the strongest in the room, that is not what do you mean by that? If you are the smartest in the room, that's not the room we are meant to be in. Shut up!
Friendship is reciprocal, and it's not to say that because you are my friend. No, that's not what I mean.
No.
But we're all in each other's lives for a reason.
Yes.
You know, I come to you with my most darkest parts. I'm not expecting you to say, okay, these are your darkest parts, and they're okay, keep it. No. I am embracing you, but then you have to work on you becoming better, so that dark part becomes,
that is love.
Exactly.
So there are things that you can have influences on with your friends. So the positives, Nana would say, you learn, and negative. And honestly, I like what Nana said. I don't have a sense of security. I don't think that it is. I think it's just maybe how I was raised, my experiences in life. I pick up the positives. The negatives, not so much.
That's a sense of security.
When I was in senior high school, all my friends were dating. All of them. Different people. Maybe they break up, they do. And I had someone ask me, what is wrong with you? All your friends are dating. And they won't date you. And I was like, my brother.
You see that? I feel like that's I call it a subtle sense of security. You feel what you're doing is the better way, and nobody can tell you nothing.
So it means you're headstrong.
You're headstrong.
Yeah.
I don't care what you're doing. But
exactly. I'm not about I was like, what do you mean by Denham? We're friends. Absolutely. Is she entitled to do what she wants? Absolutely. Am I entitled to do the same? Yes. So just because my friends have decided, okay, so maybe this is senior high school, this is the time for us to, experiment or do whatever, it doesn't mean that I have to do the same thing. That is, and because our world, we like using the word dating, its definitions and things. We're not coming to say there are nuances, so I don't like to get into that. But I am not with this whole 21st century kind of, so leave me to figure it out when I want to. But I have always been my friend used to call me. She said I go that they owe you a pay setter.
That's it.
You do when people do.
Yeah.
And honestly, not me imagining all I feel is like I'm being me. It doesn't mean that I'm perfect. No, of course I have issues, I have flaws and all that, but I'm very careful about the things that I pick up, if that makes any sense.
At least you have some conscience.
Yeah.
Exactly. I don't think, okay, so Nana Kwame is my friend. We vibe and everything. So I'm just going to pick up everything in Nana Kwame's room. That is a lie. And Nana Kwame is a witness. So I think
it's not every time dogs follow their owners.
I think we have to. I don't know whether it is, like I said, I don't know whether it's our educational system. I don't know whether it's our culture, our value system. But we are going to have to let young people, teenagers in certain ages, develop a sense of self. Obviously, it's not 100%, but most of our formative years are when we get to senior high school and when we get to university. It's very difficult after that for people to change some views that they picked up. So I think those formative years, people need to let people understand that peer pressure is in two forms: positives and negatives. Alright, so you have to be careful when you decide, okay, this person is my friend, or this is someone that I'm admiring. This is someone. I think the next time I want us to talk about something. I want to talk about whether or not people should be role models or should be inspirations. Yes, I think there's a thin line, and people need to separate that. So what is it that I'm picking up from this person that is supposedly a celebrity and we're the same age? What are they putting on the internet? Does it, what's the word that I want to use? let me just simplify it. Is this something that I want to pick up? Will this help, who I am as a person?
Yeah.
Then you decide, this is positive, this is negative. But most people don't look at that. You are my friend, so shall we vibe? So we're just going to do everything that we're doing together. And maybe your friend will do that, and Naoya Santwa, they won't be affected, but you go and do it. It's like, I'm going to use the most basic example for you. And maybe for me, maybe I'm talking from a Christian perspective. You know how young people, when they get to a certain age, are like, okay, so I'm going to have sex, or I'm going to do the sugar daddy kind of thing. And, these your friends will be doing it, and they'll never get pregnant. But you has decided, okay, I am going to work with God. Charlie, I'm not going to do that life. Now, hey, Charlie, my friends, only you, Nana family, you go and do, and
you don't break.
Exactly. So I'm like, be careful.
Yeah.
No friend will come perfect. I don't think that's ever possible. So far as we're human beings, we all have issues that we're dealing with.
Yeah.
But you have to be careful with I'm just gonna copy everything that the person is doing.
I think it all boils down to what you're saying. Have a strong sense of self.
Yes.
Because then again, people do not come into your life burdening themselves with the responsibility
of exactly. That's right. I absolutely
people
love
don't do that.
People are just living.
People are living.
Yes, people are absolutely.
So you burdening somebody? Oh, this thing you're doing is going for me.
Yeah, it's very.
Live your life. Live people to live theirs. Because I have friends who are different from me in a lot of ways.
A lot.
Like, I don't drink, I don't smoke. I have friends that drink, that smoke. I'm like, do you? I don't expect you to come into my life trying to teach me the way to be. So the thing is, because I'm a head ass, I'm like, you can do you, I'll do me. And I'm confident and comfortable in the fact that we can all take that different path when it comes to intoxication. Drink, smoke, do you. I would never, and trust me, I've never felt the need to drink or smoke because it's a strong sense of self. And when you are able to let go of all those, you meet people as who they are, as all the things they bring into your life.
Yes.
Right? The emotional friends, the emotional support, like how they just beautify your life in the way. You just meet them at that. But if you're going to burden them with, is what you're doing going to influence? Who said they're doing it to influence you? Who said they care about you in that sense?
And I think that's what draws the line between being judgmental and acceptance. That's what draws the line. Because you should be able to know you're a human being, you have brains. You can think. You can literally know what I'm doing is going to be detrimental to my health or to my life. So then let me, do the right thing. But I think in this last age, like what has mostly healed is the negative aspect more because everybody finds it so smooth.
That is
and so
very
nice.
True.
Using the F words.
So certain kind of language.
Yeah. It becomes
okay,
a
I don't want to pronounce the word. No, the B word. That's for female girl.
Yeah.
Like, I know that in some cultures it has, different meanings. But think about it when I'm Ghana. I don't want to be called a female girl.
Not at all.
But people think,
it's so nice.
Suave,
it's classy.
It's the new WhatsApp kind of
that's
thing.
the funny thing, right?
I don't know what is so elegant about that.
I don't think it's a matter of elegance, right?
It has meaning for them.
Yes, I'm going to say it because, like, me and my friends sometimes we use the B word, but not like they're like a boy. It's a gender neutral term, like man, right? And to us, it doesn't hold the power of an insult. It's like, hey, B, like it could be like, oh, you could say like. B! And the way they emote is like how people use the F word.
Yes.
Like it takes on so many forms. Like, oh, F! Oh, F? It's a way of emoting and it becomes a slang in my social circles in a way that doesn't hold the power of an insult. And because we know that, I will not speak to somebody else and call them a B word.
No.
Because we don't have that.
Yes, we don't have that relationship.
At all.
We keep...
and we don't.
Business is business.
Exactly, and we don't have that. You're not on the same page about that kind of language.
No.
To you, it might be vulgar. To my friends, it's just really nothing. It's like the same way how even certain black people don't like to be called the N-word because to them they don't think they should be called that. And other people are like, why? And at the end of the day,
I'm not even getting to this.
It's like at the end of the day, people would say we have reclaimed the word and using it amongst ourselves is a way to sort of not let it hold the power. They are right. Somebody says, I don't want to be called that. So that in that sense, you may not understand. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to call you the N-word then. Even though you're an N-word in my head.
Therefore, it's in my head. So you can't come after me.
Exactly my point. So I feel like also, people may pick up on certain things because of pop culture. Because like, Cardi's saying it, Nicki's saying it, Beyonce is using it in a song, Rihanna is saying it. So they feel like, oh, they can say it too. But you might maybe consider your circle where you are, your atmosphere, who is there, and know that this is not the place to use the B word. This is not the place to use the F word. This is the place to do what you're supposed to do as a professional, as a formal person, or even not professional, formal. Just like you are a friend who you do not have that kind of relationship
with.
Exactly.
So you should know whom to do what with, and what have you. But I think myself, I'm guilty of this in terms of the vulgar use of words. I have an uncle who has lived in the UK for a long time. So like I've lived with him like for a long part of my life. And I can be, if I'm pushed to the extreme, I'm not the type that knows how to use like bad words, insult people and all of that. But if I'm pushed to the extreme, I can tell you to go and fuck yourself.
And you should. Well, you can tell you to go and F yourself, and you better go find a place to F yourself. And you've earned the right to say that.
Yeah.
No, I just feel like, you see, it's a way of emoting and speaking to people. But you just have to know the place you say it. So tailor your language for your relationship. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to go into a meeting room and say, today, what we have on the effing board is that B don't know how to eat this, so we're going to introduce it. Don't say that.
That is a no-no. Like, no. Like, whether we're friends, whether we're laughing, no.
Yeah.
There's a limit.
Okay, so, my question. You know how we're saying that positives and negatives?
Yes.
I feel like even with the positives, when you're picking, you have to be careful. Because, yes, we can all pick positive attitudes. But maybe for that person, that positive attitude works. For you, it may not be so great. The negatives that we're talking about, what are some of the negatives that you think our society, like, you know, peer pressure, especially young people, what kind of negative attitudes do you think they're picking up these days? We've talked about social media where people just go and pick up words, and you know, the thing where people see that now you're on social media, so being naked is a whole vibe now, or being thick in a certain way it's like she said, you know, Yahoo and frauding and all that. People think that, okay, so I like something that the old people nowadays say. They're saying that Sika maybe Papa did 50 you know, it's not that maybe it's impossible for you as a young person. It's just that the means through which you're going to get it, you know, you get it. So what are some of the negative attitudes that you feel like, you know, young people have picked up, and what do you think that they can do to, you know, overcome those kinds of...
Can I come in?
Sure.
Our celebrities are playing a bigger role in there in terms of drug abuse. Now smoking shisha is the norm of the day.
They have health.
You find young girls, young boys in junior high school smoking
thinking that it is it,
and even taking videos on social media. So then what you see, what clicks in your head. In psychology, there was an experiment using the Bobo doll by one experimenter, a psychologist called Ivan Pavlov, where children were made to observe. So you learn by observation. Children were made to observe the Bobo doll being abused in a negative way, and when they were left alone in the room with the Bobo doll, they saw it on TV. So they wanted to test and see how it does through observation. And majority of these children abused the dolls when they were left alone in the same room, because that's what they saw. That's what they are doing. And I think this has to do with what we see. Social media is all over the place. People are craving for phones. People want to have the latest cars and what have you. Social media is doing a lot for us. It is not, someone can be at home and learn masturbation.
Just by watching.
And I mean, it's by what they see.
So do you think that our country has to censor some of the things that people are allowed to have access to on the internet? Because some people will make the arguments that they are adults and they can do what they want.
So you pay for it.
No, I see your hands are up. Please.
Before I even go into... Okay, no, let me first answer that before I forget.
Okay, sure.
Mainstream media isn't supposed to raise your children for you.
You as a parent supposed to raise your child.
Thank you. So don't put that responsibility on people. Yeah, and also, one thing I want to say is, I think pressures go beyond peers. Generational pressures.
They do.
Like, yes. Because I think people doing fraud goes beyond them just seeing people do fraud.
Of course, some people... I'll give an example. There's a story that I heard of some person that I was shocked. I didn't know that that was what the person was doing, but that was what the person was doing. And the backstory is that, you know, they were going through a very hard time. Life was difficult. Things weren't going well. And then they figured, okay, this is an option for me. I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I saw something.
And now life is okay for them. And, well, I'm not going to judge
Yeah.
because I am not God.
Yeah.
I may not make that choice, but what are you going to say?
Exactly.
For us, the Christians, we will say that, okay.
Yeah, maybe,
NPO,
yeah.
but I can't say the same for someone.
No,
Exactly
no.
what I'm saying.
So,
Like, because
It's the level of tolerance in
Yes.
everyone.
and till I saw someone
everyone
on Twitter that I found funny that somebody said my parents said when I was your age I had a house, and somebody said when you were my age a house cost $6.
Yeah, I think
It cost $6.
I've seen that. So
Now
we're not in the
$6 cannot
same,
even buy ice cream.
generation. Yeah.
I feel like our generational differences just present so many things that wasn't there, like that weren't there before, and like people getting nude on social media.
Oh goodness.
Then and now is some form of sexual liberation.
Mhm.
It's
Then
a
had
new wave.
consequences.
Yes.
Now it doesn't.
Yes,
really.
it's a new wave of body positivity. New of like a lot of
People
politics.
have kind of different
Exactly my
meanings that
point.
they are attaching to.
Exactly my point.
Yeah,
So I think a strong sense of self is just
Is
knowing what benefits you,
Mhm.
right?
You should have your own culture
Exactly,
values.
exactly.
Okay.
So if I see somebody that says nudity empowers me
Mm.
because I feel like I feel beautiful, do you? If I see somebody says I want to feel covered because it empowers you, do you, right? So the pressure to me is when it's always self-inflicted.
You feel like you should be able to make the right
always
choice.
always self. Because trust me, the
If you follow
celebrities,
people, exactly, they're gonna do what they're gonna
they're
do.
doing what is best for them. And that's nobody has the burden of influencing
child,
you.
yeah.
Nobody. So celebrities, TV, websites, pornography, whatever it is, they don't have the responsibility to raise your children and raise you as a person, right? So all I'm saying is this: there are negatives, there are positives, but it's always self-inflicted.
Definitely.
You know, there's I don't know, there's a celebrity that was on social media. I think she played music. The lyrics was something, and apparently when she was playing it, and her daughter, child, was coming and she watched the music,
Cardi B.
and people were saying that. So you're not gonna let your child listen to that, but you're playing it for people. And I think that's the same thing now. Saying, which is she said, I am not the one supposed to raise your child. You should raise your child properly.
The thing is
And
for
let your child
adults.
know that this kind of music is not for children. So why are you as a parent allowing your child to listen to that kind? So from there, I can't disagree. You see, that is why I said we'll have this conversation. Role models and inspirations. So that you know that I believe that you should say, this is the quality that I admire in the person. This is not my role model. I don't know who they are behind closed doors. And as a human being and a Christian, I believe in things of the spirit. So I'm not about to call things on myself by calling this person more. Oh, you're my role model. I am calling that on myself. So that is a conversation we'll have later. But I like it. And my last question is, most people tend to believe that they're not affected or influenced by depression. Do you agree?
Everybody else.
Um,
I say it.
no, I don't agree
Everybody.
because I'm a clear example. I felt I am not affected by peer pressure, but here's a case where I'm surrounded by human beings. I'm not the only person existing in this world, and you have people who have been influenced already in their lives, and you realize whatever learned behavior they learned in their peer pressure, whatever, they will still inflict you with whatever behavior. Either they will hurt you or they will help you. It's between the two. If they're hurting you to the extreme, either emotionally or psychological damage. That's what they will do to you. And in the positive aspect, maybe they'll show you some kind of love. You feel warmth or comforted, or you feel they're sympathetic towards you, and then that's it. So
Nana, what about you? Do you believe that people, the majority say media peer pressure and chimney? What's that?
They have a very closeted idea of what peer pressure is. Because sometimes you speak to yourself of how you let people speak to you.
Sure.
And people don't even realize it. If you're constantly around people that are verbally bullying you in the name of trolling, teasing, making fun of you, you end up speaking to yourself like that unconsciously.
That's what I said is a powerful force, because until you see an action being performed, you don't know that you're being influenced by peer
Exactly. Like everybody is influenced. Like
something.
there are people that are ashamed so much that they start to call themselves Biggie.
True that's
They
true.
associate their whole
That's true.
identity to people
It's a
pertaining
form
them.
of I call myself that, so if you call me that, I'm not really.
Yeah, I'm not. It's a way. It's like in a way, it's a shield, but then it becomes part of who they are.
Yeah, that is not
Everybody, like as I say, I always say this. I love my friends because they are like influence on me. It goes beyond just like I do good things, do bad things.
Yeah.
It's what they mean to me.
Growing as people.
Exactly. Like I'm somebody with what they want to call imposter syndrome, and if there are days I don't feel good about myself, my friends don't even actively have to notice and tell me you are this. It is how they speak to you. It just assures you in the most indirect way that you are that N word, you are that B word.
Yeah.
It is you.
Nana.
I'm sorry. Well, say you are that. You are it.
So if I get you, it all boils down to words.
Yes.
Communication.
Yes.
I think Nana is just trying to make the point that the fact we're in a human setting, you can't be influenced. And sometimes you may be influenced and you may not be realizing it.
Definitely.
So developing a sense of self and maybe at some point even noticing that, okay, I am being influenced by this is good.
This is very good.
So I like this conversation. It has been interesting. Peer pressure is broad, but the most important thing that people need to know is that it has negative and positive influences. So when the word peer pressure comes up, I think because of the pressure, people seem to think that pressure connotes to negativity.
Yes.
But you can also meet a friend who genuinely is trying to impact you with positive things. So let's look at peer pressure as the positives and negatives.
Yeah.
And we have to develop a sense of self to the extent where we realize that, okay, I'm being influenced now. Yeah. Is this going to serve me well or is it not? Then we're going to work towards, becoming better. Or if it is serving me well, then okay, let's get better at it. So this has been our conversation on peer pressure. It does exist. It is a powerful force and you have to be very careful in noticing whether or not you are being affected by it. Nana Inafantua, thank you very much for taking the time to be here today and being my guest for the show.
Always. It's good to be here.
Myself and my listeners are very grateful. Well, we'll see you for our next session. Toodles!